Hi, I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is the Community Show. I want to thank you for watching. We're in for a treat tonight. We have our guest, Karen Mayo, and it's a gift to have her here tonight. She's going to talk about nutrition. So I'd like to say hello to Karen. Thank you for coming on.
Hello, Victor. Thank you.
All right. You know, nutrition has been going on for a very long time. You know, back 2500 BC, it was written in the stone tablets of Babylon that when you had pain in your stomach, you were to avoid onions for 3 days.
Wow.
So nutritionists have been around for a long time, and it is a science.
Oh, it is a science. I know. I love it. Who doesn't like to talk about food?
Well, that's the thing. You know, it's incredible. My family has made a living on selling food and preparing food. And so food has been a big part of my life, and I have a lot of interest in nutrition.
Well, you know, food should be a part of everyone's life. It's just a matter of what type of food you put into your mouth and how it nourishes your body. Because each culture, you know, they have different, you know, foods that nourish them or can act as a poison as well. So again, it's all about the, you know, nourishing of the body and different cultures.
Well, I mean, it's important for us all to sit down and have a nice meal. But, you know, throughout history, sitting down with the family and enjoying a meal has always been paramount. And, you know, it's a practice that kind of we've been getting away from and we need to get back to.
No, I love that. And absolutely, you know, getting back to basics and getting into the kitchen and getting the family together is so important, and also important for the children.
You know, it's important to talk about mind, body, and soul. And, you know, those are the three things that, you know, we're all made of. And, you know, I'd like to talk about the alimentary canal, which is the start of our digestive tract, and it starts in the mouth.
Right. Right. So digestion obviously starts in the mouth when we put the food in, but it's the digestive enzymes and also the chewing, so the macerating of the food in your mouth. Chewing 20 to 30 times is a normal practice to be mindful, but sometimes I know that in different people have different, let's say you work outside, sometimes you're eating way too fast because you have to get back to your job. I get that, and but if you could be more mindful and chewing your food, your body will have such a better time in digesting it. And that practice, mindfulness, really needs to be, you know, practiced nowadays. Just because everyone is going 24/7, and stress and cortisol is a really bad, you know, hormone that just constantly wreaks havoc on our body.
So the food goes through the esophagus into the stomach.
Small intestine. Yep. Yep. Stomach.
And the stomach is like a little laboratory. There's all kinds of enzymes and hormones. Bile duct goes into there.
Yep. So a lot of like gastrin, and there's all kinds of hormones that get mixed together and then get mixed with your food, and then it moves down to the small intestine, where the water and proteins and everything else gets kind of absorbed if you chew it small enough for the small intestine to absorb it. If you have big chunks of food, it's just going to continue through the intestinal tract, and you're not going to absorb the nutrients that inside your food. So just like the seeds, the flax seed, like you have to macerate that really good between your teeth to get the oils out, which are the nutrients.
All right, so it is very important to chew the food, because you're breaking it down to a state where it can be absorbed into the small intestine.
Yeah, and actually the pulp in your food is really, like on your fruits and your vegetables, it's so important to make sure that you do macerate it small enough for your body to absorb it, because that's the reason why you're eating it. You know, why waste it? Just, you know, make sure that your body is absorbing it. So make sure you're chewing 20 to 30 times, almost to like an applesauce consistency.
Okay. All right, let's talk about what we're eating. Now, the basic is breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yay!
You know, that is a structure that's been going on forever. Let's talk about what's important to eat for breakfast.
Sure. So breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's what they say. And it is. And you really need to have a good protein and fat balance. So eggs and, avocado is a great breakfast. I know sometimes it's not, people can't just grab and go. So, but I think it's really important to eat something in the morning if it's something like fat and protein. So it could be like overnight oats. You could add your nuts and your seeds, which is a great fat. People don't realize that your nuts and seeds are fats, and they're healthy fats. Right. So you can, again, make those overnight oats for that as well. For lunch, you want to really make sure that you have a little bit of carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates there, and some protein. You always want to make sure you have protein and a little bit of fat at every meal. And your fat at lunch could be like olive oil, salad dressing, something like that, mixed with your apple cider vinegar. And then dinner can be the same thing. And sometimes I advise my clients to, if you wanted to have breakfast for dinner, you could totally do that too. Like have eggs at night with avocado, and it's actually better on your intestinal tract.
It's a lighter meal.
It's a lighter meal, and that way you're not going to bed with a full belly either. So I like you can mix and match breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right. It's ironic that eating the right foods will increase the capacity of your digestion. So eating the right foods is what creates the ability for these chemical reactions to go on in your stomach.
Right. So our body is amazing. Like, it's perfect. Our body is really perfect. Yeah. So as long as we give it just a little time to heal, it will do exactly that. It's just amazing. Our bodies are, God made us so amazing. And every single person is amazing. They just have to give it a chance to heal. It's just a matter of, even if you're just eating a little lighter, summertime is just a week away. Yeah, it's Friday. So, eating lighter, eating salads, eating cooler things. Watermelon is great to have, in the summertime, mixed with a little feta and some arugula with a little bit of apple cider vinegar or balsamic vinegar on it. So delicious.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now we've gone from, I know for years, the food pyramid was the structure for what we're supposed to eat.
Right.
And it's stated that 11 to 12 portions of grains,
and I think
bread,
I think that was
cereal.
the basis of all of our diabesity that we have in this country. No other country eats like this. So eating, it is obviously the pyramid has changed now. So,
Well, now they call it the 4-plate, which is the vegetables, fruits, protein, and then the grains. And then they just have a little dial on the side that says dairy.
Right, and my feelings on dairy is we are not baby cows, so we don't need dairy.
Right.
There's plenty of non-dairy that is delicious, and seeds and nuts, all kinds of dairy.
To get
the omega-3s and omega-6s and the vitamin C. Matter of fact, hemp seed milk has all your omega-6s, omega-3s. It has more vitamin C and more vitamin D actually than milk does. So, well, I'm sure we'll chat about that in a little bit. But
So amino acids are create a huge function in the body.
Yes. So the amino acids, our body can't convert all of them that we need, but it can produce about 20 of them.
Okay.
So we need to get the other from food. And complete proteins that has all of our amino acids are things like quinoa and the dairy and the seeds, like I was just talking about, like hemp seed and almond, and they have actually quinoa milk as well now too.
So protein is a big part of our diet,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's completely necessary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You need protein for your cells to rejuvenate and also to help with releasing of the toxins in our cells. We need fat, protein, and carbohydrates.
Okay. Now, what about fiber?
Yes, fiber. Love fiber. Fiber's our friend.
Okay.
So fiber is in our chia seeds, and fiber is in our fruits and vegetables.
And it's very necessary.
It's very necessary to keep our intestinal tract moving.
Right.
Yep. So.
And it's not always absorbed, but it serves a purpose as a
bulk.
Right.
Yeah. So. Right, so that's why it's so important to go back to where we were talking about the maceration of the food in our mouths when we're eating. Because if we're not macerating or we're not chewing and those enzymes are not being produced, then we are going to have a tough time going through our bowel system, our the tunnel that we have.
the alimentary canal.
Yeah.
And I want to read a statement. Lifestyle and obesity-related diseases are becoming increasingly prevalent all around the world. There is little doubt that increasingly widespread application of some modern food processing technologies has contributed to the development of these food process industry is a major part of modern economy, and such it is a influential economic and such political decisions. In any known profit-driven economy, health considerations are hardly a priority. Effective production of cheap food with long shelf life is more the trend. In general, whole fresh foods have a relatively short shelf life and are less profitable to produce and to sell than more processed foods. Thus, the consumer is left with a choice between more extensive but nutritionally superior whole fresh foods and cheap, usually nutritionally inferior processed foods. Because processed foods are often cheaper, more convenient in purchasing, storage, and preparation, and more available, the consumption of nutritionally inferior food has caused many nutritional related health complications. I mean, there's a lot said in there.
No, absolutely, and unfortunately, our country is based on the standard American diet, which is SAD for short. And there's a lot of omega-6s, processed foods, and that has led to obesity. That has led to diabetes, type 2, and it's actually led to a lot of other conditions. Rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, regular arthritis. That's all based on sugar and these, even fast food, high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all related to food that doesn't have to be. It can be preventative. Yeah, no, I agree, and it's a sad state, and unfortunately for many Americans, there are 35% of the United States is obese.
Mm. The problem is that they look at us as consumers. We're not people, and this is a major factor. And this is where your accountability has to set in. And what we're going to talk about is the healthy choices. Now, if you don't make healthy choices for yourself, certainly the government's not worried about you, because they're more worried about making money, being able to tax all these items.
Well, it's really interesting that people would actually lean on the government to help them make healthier choices. There are farmers that can make healthy choices for you as well.
Sure.
And you don't have to be accountable to them. You just have to spend your dollars with them. And that's another healthy choice. You can spend your dollars. Matter of fact, we live in America, so you spend your dollars wherever you want to spend them. Yeah. And if you're spending your dollars in fast food, or if you're spending your dollars and waiting waiting for the government. I mean, they're going to just lean you right into the system of medication, right into the system of, you know, I'm going to stop there because I don't want to
No, we want to stick with the fact that you have to make the choice.
Yes.
You know, and it's important. Health starts with what you eat.
Yes.
And whole foods, you know, let's talk about organic foods compared to non-organic.
Sure. So some foods you don't necessarily have to purchase organically if there's, you know, a money situation or finance situation. Like pineapples. You don't have to buy them because you're going to peel them, so you don't necessarily have to buy them organically.
Okay.
Same thing with avocados. You know, anything that you're going to buy that you can peel, you can buy that conventional. Now we have a pepper here. Though we are going to eat the outside of this pepper, there is also a PLU code on here, as you can see. Now the PLU code is so important when you're shopping because you're going to be able to tell if it's conventional or organic. This is conventional. It starts with a 4 and it's 4 letters or 4 numbers. The organic starts with a 9, and then there's also genetically modified, and that starts with the letter, the number 8. So with the pepper, though, we're going to be able to put it in a bath, which is 1 part white vinegar to 2 parts water. You put it in the bath, and it's not going to taste like white vinegar, but you're going to get some of the pesticides off. And then you'll be able to actually enjoy the pepper, taste it fully, and enjoy it. I mean, they're delicious, even with the kale as well. You know, you're going to bathe it in the white vinegar bath and dry it off and enjoy it as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What is your feeling about supplements?
Supplements. Okay, so I believe we should get our minerals and our vitamins from our food, but sometimes if the ground doesn't have the minerals in the soil, then we kind of have to supplement with something. I do recommend supplementing with vitamin D. Again, because a lot of people in the Northeast, or actually in the United States, are really deficient in vitamin D. Vitamin B is also something that you should supplement with. It's really good for your brain health. And then magnesium. So that trifecta, the vitamin D, vitamin B, and magnesium, that surrounded your brain health and your heart health. So magnesium is really important. It keeps your heart ticking and keeps it pumping. So it's really, really important to make sure those 3 that you supplement with, or even when you're getting your blood work from your doctor, your physician, that you make sure that your D and your B are balanced and in the middle. Sometimes your doctor will say, "Hey, you're just on the, you're just low," but why would you want to in life? Why would you want to be just low? Why not be optimal? So your optimal should be around 50. That should be optimal.
Okay. You know, a perfect example of us not getting the vitamins we need is brown rice being converted to white rice. And now you're taking away the vitamin B that's on the brown rice. And, you know, there was an example of that. There was a disease called beriberi. And it was basically because they weren't getting their vitamin B. And simply because they were processing the food.
Right.
So.
Yep. So brown rice is it's really delicious, number one. It's full of fiber. It also is great for when you're doing trying to get extra toxins out of your body, because it acts like a little sponge and it goes through your intestinal tract and it absorbs all of the toxins that are in there, and then you pass it. So I mean, brown rice is delicious and it's actually good for you, where compared to white rice is full of simple carbohydrates and they convert into sugar. So that is a simple, healthy option. So brown rice. And if you actually wanted to go a little step further, you could even do black rice or red rice. Those are complete proteins actually, and they are so delicious. They have a nutty flavor to them. So if you can get some of that into your body, do that.
Yeah. So We got to stay away from the processed food.
Yes, absolutely.
Try to.
Well, try. I mean, obviously we have to live, but get back to basics and at least do your 80-20 rule. So eat well during the week or whenever your work week is. And then on the weekends, you can kind of live like the way, as long as you eat a salad, you can have some pizza.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, what are you going to make?
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. So inside of my book, Mindful Eating, is a delicious recipe called Chocolate Heaven.
All right.
So we are going to put, so there is, okay, a cup and a half of the hemp milk.
Okay.
We're going to put that into the mixture dish here.
Yep.
And to that, we are going to add a 1/4 cup of chia seeds.
All right. I guess we're going to get up here.
So a cup and a half.
Okay.
And so do you know why you use that type of dish for measuring?
No.
Okay. So when people are cooking, there are 2 types of dishes. One, which is this like glass dish, is kind of round, that is for liquid, where this square one is for dry. So I always see people sometimes using, you can pour that right in here. I always see people using this type to measure water. And I'm like, no, you don't measure water with that because you have to measure it with that type. So we're going to add a 1/4 cup. And chia, again, is really healthy fat. Okay, we're going to stir that up.
Okay.
Got to keep going. And then to that, we are going to add some chocolate, which is my favorite extra food group. Just what I say anyway. So we're going to add a tablespoon. We're just going to improvise a little bit.
All right.
To that. Okay. So this is carob powder, which is so delicious. Yeah, keep stirring.
Okay.
And then we're going to add more chocolate, which is cacao powder.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then for a little sweetness, we're going to add honey, because this can be a little bitter. Whoops. Okay. We're just going to add a little bit more. And then we're going to add a little bit of honey.
Okay.
And this is so easy to make. And what happens is the chia seeds actually bulk up to almost like a tapioca consistency.
Oh, they're swelling.
They swell, yeah. So they take on whatever you put into like water.
Okay.
So another wonderful recipe that you could do for the kids that are in sports is take the coconut water and also put the chia seeds in the coconut water, and that is such a great sports drink. So what I'm going to do is what you can is just pour it right into this mason jar.
Okay.
And what you're going to do is this is going to, again, the chia seeds are going to swell up. And this is so fun.
Sort of thicken it.
Yep, to thicken it. And this is so fun to do with the kids because you just put the lid right back on it and then you can shake it like this.
Oh.
And then every couple hours you come back and you shake it and it thickens up. And it's so delicious and it's so healthy that, I don't know, I love the extra food group called chocolate. So easy, simple.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you. That was great. Let's talk a little bit about obesity.
Okay.
It is one of the major health problems in the United States for the 21st century.
Yeah.
And, it's funny, they say that obese people are malnourished. That's kind of an oxymoron, but
yeah, so
it's true because they're
true.
not eating the right foods.
They're not eating the right foods. They're eating a lot of foods that have omega-6s in them. Even though omega-6 is healthy for us, but it has to be in proportion with omega-3s. And it's also the simple sugars that are converting into fat that are being stored. So unfortunately, that's what's happening in fast food and all of the foods that we were just talking about that lead to overweight processed, foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is a good caloric intake? What's a good number?
Okay, so that actually can vary with everybody. Everyone's different because of their metabolic, makeup.
Sure.
And again, sometimes talking about calories, a candy bar can have the
Limits,
same, well, it limits. So I don't necessarily talk about or have my clients or have anyone I talk to really count calories, because it's the same thing if you have broccoli, it's the same thing if you have a candy bar. So you have to really be mindful of what you're putting into your mouth. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but to give you a number, I would say 1,500 calories. I know there are a lot of programs that do count calories, and I get that. But 1,500 for men, and for women, I would say 1,200.
But it's also important to eat the right foods, though.
Yeah, you have to really eat the right foods, like seaweed. Seaweed is really good for our thyroid. It's also good for our immune system. It's really great for iron as well, iron deficiency. So this green, it's called chlorella. Chlorella and blue-green algae and liquid chlorophyll. This is all really good stuff for our guts, for our intestinal tract. It acts like a little Pac-Man, and it goes in and it eats away what's been sitting in people's crevices in their intestinal tract, and it helps you pass it. So it's really great supplement if you can look for it. It's a blue-green, like I said, blue-green algae is wonderful. And then we have our probiotics. So probiotics, they are really good for our gut as well. They help to flourish our good bacteria in our body, and so our bad bacteria isn't taking over our intestinal tract as well. So probiotics are very, very important, and our blue-green algae as well.
It's good for balance in the stomach.
Yes, it does. Yep, balances.
Okay, we got about a minute and a half left.
Okay.
Let's talk about the book real quick.
Sure. This is Mindful Eating, and then across the way we have Roots of Leadership. Roots of Leadership has a podcast as well. I co-authored it with the CEO of Marsh & McLennan Agencies. It's a really wonderful book as far as journaling. Journaling's really super important. Mindful Eating is as a 30-day journal as well, and it has plenty of recipes in it.
Okay. And I know we've talked about this before, but you talk about pH balance in your book.
Yes. Yeah, so the pH balance, the acid-alkaline balance in food. Really you want to have an 80-20 rule, where you're having 80% of really nutritious food on your plate, compared to, like, say, your acid. So your protein could be animal protein, if, let's just say it could be animal protein. So the 80-20 rule can also be applied to where you're eating, again, really well during the week, and then on the weekends you have your 20% where you're living.
Yeah.
But as long as you're eating a salad with your pizza, I always tell people that. I mean, go ahead and enjoy your pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm Victor Margiotta. This is the Community Show. There's a lot of options out there. We want you to eat right, exercise, get healthy, take care of yourself, because if you don't do it, nobody else will. It's so important for you to take care of yourself. So thanks for watching.